Given the lack of potential stars in the draft, Bucks' decision to select Giannis with the 15th pick of the 2014 NBA draft was fairly risky, but the Bucks didn't have much to lose. They kind of followed Indiana and Paul George in the sense of betting on potential as opposed to a finished product. With that being said, here are some facts you probably didn't know about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tough beginnings. Giannis is the son of Nigerian immigrants and was born in Greece, more specifically in the Athens neighborhood of Sepolia. Wondering why the boy has such remarkable physical characteristics? Giannis' mother and father also experienced their own sporting moments. His mother was an athlete, and the old man used to play soccer. In the late 80s and early 90s, Nigeria was a huge ethnic hotspot where an unstable political and economic environment resulted in a severe economic catastrophe. In 1991, Giannis' parents left their first child in the care of his grandparents in their hometown of Lagos in order to escape poverty and immigrate to Greece. In Athens, Giannis was born 3 years later. For African refugees during the 1990s, it was a very challenging time. There were racist signs everywhere, and the situation with work and money was even worse. The parents of Giannis either plucked oranges in orchards or sold handcrafted beads in bazaars. Every day was a battle that the Antetokounmpo family lost more often than not, and they had been evicted once due to unpaid rent. Everyone made a valiant effort to keep afloat, and the kids frequently assisted the adults in their tasks. Giannis says, "We went through many hard times together. We all had to work to survive." It was not easy to live in Greece, a country with a tough economic situation where the youth unemployment rate is 36%. Still, there were more opportunities here than in Nigeria, especially when it comes to sports. Giannis' parents knew that. The origins of a talent. Little Giannis used to sneak out to the nearby basketball courts with his brother Thanasis while they were both still kids. There, the boys were allowed to play one-on-one basketball for the better part of the day. It served as a sort of diversion from the stresses of daily living. It's important to note that the elder Thanasis played with Giannis in the second league, Philaftilikos, and he planned to take part in the NBA draft but decided against it eventually. He then started pursuing a career in the NBA again while playing for the Delaware 87ers in the D-League. And of course, right now he's playing alongside Giannis on the Bucks. How does he remember his youth? Off the court, we really didn't own much. We had almost nothing in our lives, but on the court, you could feel like you had everything you wanted. Hey, by the way, if you're enjoying the video, consider leaving a like. It takes 2 seconds and it helps out a lot. Thanks. The neighborhood in which Giannis grew up was mainly populated by poor people. Nevertheless, the local community strongly supported him. For example, one of the older guys in the neighborhood, now 36-year-old Dimitris Matsagas, gave Giannis clothes. As he recalls, "I always knew that Giannis was aiming high. The boy spent his entire childhood on the court." The free breakfasts that nearby cafes provided to Giannis' family is another illustration of the assistance provided by the neighbors. You won't find anybody who isn't proud of Giannis today. He's a hero in his hometown. The same community court where the little Greek took his first steps in basketball is now crowded with kids who hope to be the next Giannis to play in the NBA. The Great Unknown. At first, Giannis seemed to be a legend, a rumor, a basketball unicorn that no one had ever seen but everyone had heard about. After all, how to give credence to the fact that somewhere out there in Greece there is a 6'11" teenager running around with a good motor skills, a decent shot, and can even be a playmaker? Revelations soon began to be confirmed. The unicorn does exist, but he did not turn out to be a Greek Durant, but rather an interesting project and a great unknown. The problem was that before the NBA, he had played only in the Greek second league and at the European U20 championships. The lack of experience at the high professional level raised many doubts. The Bucks therefore took a risk, but did they have anything to lose? Now, of course, we know how this story turned out. The Greek Freak is the most dominant NBA player and is still improving. He's an NBA champion, MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, just to name a few. Sky's the limit for him, and it's pretty exciting to see where the journey takes him. And if you want to learn some cool facts about another NBA unicorn from Europe, then you should definitely click here to watch facts you didn't know about Luka Doncic.